Hey there nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and welcome to another episode of Necromunda Hired Guns, your ultimate guide to the gritty underhive of Games Workshop's Necromunda. In this series, we dive deep into the fascinating world of hang-arounds, brutes, and hired guns, so whether you're a seasoned gang leader or just stepping into the dark corridors of Hive Primus for the very first time, our in-depth analysis will help you to master three of these valuable allies as well as assets for your gangs and also in your campaigns. And on today's video, we're talking about three unique hang-arounds. We're talking about the Chem Dealer, the Fixer, as well as the Gang Lookout. We'll talk about exactly their characteristics, their war gear, their skills, their special rules, and how best to utilize them in your campaigns. And because this video will be a little bit more of a deeper dive, I will put timestamps in the description box down below so that we can click and navigate to the part of the video that interests you the most. So that being said, let's go on to start our video by talking about the Chem Dealer. Chems are a vital resource in the Underhive, and many gangs don't like to leave acquiring them to chance. A Chem Dealer is a dedicated supplier for a gang, and for a bit of protection and some creds, provides a gang with these chems when they need them. Of course, while Chem Dealers are not as vulnerable to criminal reprisals as freelancers, when a deal goes sour, they can just as easily end up with a stub round in their brain. So let's talk about the Chem Dealer, which is basically a liaison and just basically future narcotics dealer for your games of Necromunda. So let's go and talk about this characteristics real quick. So they have a 5-inch wound allowance, 4+ weapon skill and ballistic skill, 3 strength and toughness. They have 1 wound, 4 initiative, 1 attack, 7 leadership and cool, 8 willpower, as well as 7 intelligence. And just from the statistics alone from their characteristics, they're actually pretty much on par with most standard level gang fighters from most gangs of Necromunda, which is actually quite impressive for all things considered, especially when you look at the credits that it takes to recruit this character. Now, if you're a normal Necromunda gang, it's going to cost you 50 credits to recruit this character. However, though, if you are a Goliath gang, you get a steep discount on his recruitment cost, which is 25 credits as well. Now, when they get their skills, they have the Fixer skill, which is excellent because you earn D310 credits at the end of each battle, and that's assuming, of course, that the Chem Dealer didn't go out of action in any kind of game that they are playing in. And since Chem Dealers are hang around, they very rarely, if ever, end up on the tabletop, so because of that, getting those D3 times 10 credits for free is always a good thing as well. It's one of the great skills that are available from the Savant skill tree. Now, when it comes to their war gear, they basically come with 2 pieces of equipment. They have a stub gun, which is, just a stub gun, nothing special there. But the nice thing about that, though, they can start off with any dose of chem from the black market of your choice. So whatever chem you end up using for your gang, just go ahead and pick the one that you like the most. You can automatically include that in your gang setup when you actually go on the tabletop. Now, the main reason why you're taking the Chem Dealer, however, isn't for their characteristics or for their skills or even for their ability to find the tabletop. What you're really taking them for is their special rule, which is called Steady Supply. And what that basically means that all chems, whether it's black market or on the trading post, they're automatically considered common, which is very easy for you in order to purchase, in order to put in your gangs as well. At the same time, you also have the option to actually take a dose of chems as a piece of consignment. Basically, you're taking it on credit. You can get 1 dose for free of the battles. It could be any chem. That also includes a med kit or a stim slug stash. However, though, at the end of the battle, though, you do have to pay it back. So that's something you do have to take into consideration. And if you don't pay back that initial purchase of chemicals that you took from that character, the Chem Dealer is removed from play, and you are cut off from hiring a Chem Dealer ever again as well. So our concluding thoughts on the Chem Dealer, this hang-around is quite unique, but it just kind of depends on one thing, whether you use chems or not in your gang. Now, if you don't use chems, then the Chem Dealer is a dubious choice. You can just skip it because it doesn't really do anything for you. However, though, if you like using chems with your gangs, this is definitely a hang-around that you want to recruit in your organization as well. It could also be a really cool combination if you have a Narco Lord's Allegiance. For those of you guys who are not aware of that, that is an alliance that allows you to score chems very easily for your gang. At the same time, also get you a bunch of Hive scum to fight for your gang as well. So if you took this Chem Dealer as well as that Narco Lord's alliance, this could actually be a really powerful combination, especially if you're trying to look for chems to use for your gang as well. And because you're a Goliath gang, and Goliath gangs, can recruit this guy at a discount, if you want to enhance your Goliaths even further, this actually might be a good long-term investment for you. Another good gang that could actually take advantage of the Chem Dealer are Venator gangs. Specifically, you have a lot of Beastmen Venators in your gang because they have immune to friends on, which means they have all the benefits of taking friends on, but none of the negatives. So if you want to make sure you have a constant supply of that, you could recruit a Chem Dealer in order to make sure that you have that for your gang, which could be really cool as well. Not to mention the official Forge miniature is quite cool looking as well, so that part is kind of neat. But like I said before, if you really don't use chems in your gang at all, then this is actually just kind of a choice that you can pretty much skip. So now that we're done talking about the Chem Dealer, let's talk about the Fixer next. Sometimes even the most successful gang needs someone who can get things done, no questions asked. Fixers are troubleshooters with connections throughout the Underhive, able to call in favors or settle debts on others' behalf when someone is being obstinate. They are often found in the employ of settlement lords or guilder families that will work for gangs. So let's talk about the Fixer real quick. You can recruit a maximum of one of these fighters into your gangs as well. At the same time, the Fixer also costs 50 credits if you want to include this character into your gang as well. So do keep that mind into consideration. So let's go and talk about their characteristics real fast. So they have a 5-inch move, 5-inch move allowance, a 4+ weapon skill and ballistic skill, 3 strength and toughness, 1 wound, 4 initiative, 1 attack. They also have 7 leadership, 5 cool, 8 willpower, as well as 7 intelligence. Now the cool thing about the Fixer, of course, is that they actually, like I said before, have some pretty average ganger little stats, which is actually quite common to see in most gangs. And they also cost 50 credits too, which is quite good. They have a really nice 5+ cool characteristic, which is quite good, considering that's a hanger on as well. Now when it comes to their skills, they do have the Fixer skill, which is kind of appropriate because they are a Fixer, which means you earn D3 10 credits every game so long as they don't get taken out of action. And since this character is a hanger-on, it's very rare that you're actually going to put this guy onto the tabletop at all, so that part is quite nice. Now for their equipment, they have a bolt pistol, which is actually a really deadly combination, being able to hit at strength 4 with 2 damage. That is all kinds of powerful. And they also have mesh armor too for 5 armor save. So if you want to think about it, this character is basically like a ganger with a bolt pistol and mesh armor, and you don't really have to pay for anything more than just a normal recruitment cost for most gangers. So the Fixer is quite cool in that aspect. The nice thing about this character, of course, is there are special rules. Now, it ends up happening, of course, that you add +2 for testing alliances, or subtract 2, kind of depending on the situation you want to look at it. And they're very worth it if you have an alliance system as well. So if you're ending up doing things that you normally trouble the alliance that you might be with, having that ability to take off 2 on that modifier is going to be really great to make sure you don't break that alliance, which could be quite good as well. At the same time, you could also be discarding your Fixer in order to avoid outlaw status as well. So if you are playing in a campaign where outlaw statuses are important, kind of like the Law and Misrule campaign, then the Fixer could be really useful for you in order to make sure you can ignore that outlaw status being placed upon you. In that sense, you can think of the Fixer as kind of like a 50 credit insurance policy to make sure that that never happens, both to secure your alliances and to make sure that you don't become an outlaw as well. And at the same time, the miniature is actually quite it looks really cool as well, the official miniature from Forge World. In fact, it kind of reminds me of the character of Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad as well as Better Call Saul. So it has kind of like the same kind of vibe going on with that character as well. And with the weapons and equipment they have available to them, they actually make them quite deadly in the tabletop too if you end up using them on the tabletop. Now, the thing about the Fixer, however, though, if you are playing in a campaign where either 1, you don't have alliances, or 2, outlaw status isn't really a big issue for you, then the Fixer becomes kind of a questionable value for your gang. If you're playing a Law and Misrule campaign where alliances are available and same thing with outlaw status, then by all means, the Fixer is probably a really good value to get for your gang, just to make sure that you can take advantage of those game mechanics. But if you're playing a campaign where none of that's available, then the Fixer doesn't really become all that important. So now that we're done talking about the Fixer, let's talk about the very last hanger on this video, which is the Gang Lookout. Young supplicants hoping to impress the gang, or loyal locals who know that the status quo has been the arrival of a new gang in their hat block, there are many hivers willing to keep watch on a gang's borders and pass warnings of unwanted visitors along. Together with gang fighters and close associates prowling their territory, such a network of local inhabitants, workers, and businesses enables a gang to be very safe within their hideout. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the Gang Lookout, which is actually one of the original OG type of hanger-ons are actually available to gangs of Necromunda way back when the game was actually first started. So you can have up to one of these guys in your gang and they cost 20 credits. For the characteristics, they got a 5-inch wound allowance, a 5+ weapon skill, and a 4+ ballistic skill. They have 2 strength, 3 toughness, 1 wound, 3 initiative, 1 attack, 9 leadership, 7 cool, 5 willpower, as well as 7 intelligence. So they actually have a pretty decent ballistic skill as well as an enhanced initiative skill, which is quite good. And for some strange reason, they have a really, really good willpower score of 5+. So that's actually quite impressive. So it actually could make a really cool, like, little psychic if you want to use this for an outcast gang, which would be quite cool. Now, when it comes to their skills, they do have the evade skill, which is actually quite good. That gives you -1 hit penalty against shooting attacks, so that's always a useful skill to have. So this guy's even becoming a little even more powerful. And when it comes to the weapons, of course, you have a choice between taking a last pistol or a stub gun. For those two, it just kind of depends on what you really want to take for your fighter, and of course, an axe or a knife. I think an axe is actually really better because it gives you +1 to your strength as well. So on the lookout, this guy's pretty much just kind of like a juvie level fighter with 20 credits, and you don't have to spend any credits to recruit this guy in terms of extra weapons or equipment. So in that sense, he is kind of a steal. Now, the real reason why you want to take the Gang Lookout, of course, is for the special rule, which is called Heads Up. You basically got +1 to roll when determine which gang is the attacker or the defender, which could be quite good for you because, let's say for example, if you're in a scenario where it's more advantageous to be the attacker, that might be something that might help you out to dominate in that scenario. At the same time, you also get +1 for all sentry rolls for spotting an attacker when defending in a sneak attack scenario. So that part is also quite good as well in case of any kind of sentry duty is associated, like a rescue mission, that sort of thing. So that might be something that you want to get as well. Now, for overall thoughts of the Gang Lookout, for 20 credits, the Gang Lookout does a lot of good for your game. They can give you some bonuses in determining who's going to be the attacker or the defender scenario. If you have to do a situation where there's sentries and you're on defense, that could also really help you out as well. In my opinion, this could actually be a really good investment for Venator gangs because Venator gangs are always about capturing enemy fighters, and that's kind of like a regular thing that they do. So having a Gang Lookout in order to help you out to defend your prize from your enemies could be something that could be quite useful for you as well. At the same time, they only cost 20 credits, which is, kind of like a pittance compared to all the benefits they actually do for you as well. Not to mention the official miniature from Games Workshop as well as Forge World also looks quite good as well. Especially the Delac one. The Delac Gang Lookout looks really, really cool. In fact, they should be using that miniature as a Delac level fighter, not necessarily as a Gang Lookout. But either way, though, you really can't go wrong because the miniatures look really awesome as well. So in conclusion, these are a lot of miniatures that have some really cool miniatures associated with them. They also have some really cool rules that can really help out your gang as well. And as always, when it comes to brutes and hanger-ons and hired guns, it's always a tactical as well as strategic choice. And so because of that, if you're not really sure what to do, or if you just want to try something out because you're interested in it, then always default to the rule of cool. One of the nice things about Necromunda is that you can play this game multiple times all over, as many times as you want to, with different combinations of things. So if you just want to play the field just to feel like what it's like to have any of these guys in your gang, that's perfectly fine as well. Now, the only downside about these specific hanger-ons, the Chem Dealer, the Fixer, and the Gang Lookout, is that they do have official miniatures created by Games Workshop as well as Forge World. So if you are playing in a campaign where the campaign arbitrator wants you to use WYSIWYG, which is an acronym for standing for what you see is what you get, it could be kind of a pain because miniatures are quite expensive to purchase. So not many people are like that. People usually don't mind you proxying, 3D printing, converting, or kit bashing your own, but you never know when you might run into that situation as well, because some people can be quite vindictive when it comes to that kind of thing. They're like, no, I want the official miniature, and if you don't have it, you can't use it, that kind of sort of thing. But like I said, that's very rare in most occasions. So that's good for this video, guys. If you guys have any suggestions on some other hanger-ons or brutes that you would like to see, please drop a comment in the comments boxes down below, and if I like your idea, I'll make a video about it. So as always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. You guys' input is valuable to us as always. I am Commander Cheapskate. That's going to do it for this video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.